I love sushi. Sushi is my favorite treat. And then I say that, and then I think, oh, the first thing I want to do. This is Katarabata. This is one of my favorite sushi restaurants in Houston. I got some katsu sando. These are just basically a wagyu steak on the most buttery divine bread you could ever think of. These things are like candy, basically. Look at that. So I should preface this by saying, it's around Thanksgiving, so why not have a mukbang? Thanksgiving food is eh. I'm not too big on turkey and all that stuff. I will eat it, don't get me wrong. But if I had the choice of that or sushi, I'd take sushi. The most tender, soft, delicious beef you could think of. This is this rivals stuff I've had in Japan. Now, when we were in Japan, we had a meal in a place in Kobe. We had Kobe beef in Kobe, and that was just world class, top tier, some of the best food I've ever eaten. This ranks up there with it. This is just fabulous. It just dissolves. Really fabulous. These are just, oh, like I said, they're almost like candy. I'm just going to go through every little piece real quick. So that's a katsu sando. It's just basically a beef sandwich, but best beef you could think of. Best, just a buttery bread, just bread soaked in butter in the best possible way you could ever think of. This is yellowtail fish, and then some sauce to go over the top of it. This stuff is really great because it's sliced really thin, of course, but it's got a nice citrusy flavor to it because it has lemon on it, and it also has a nice jalapeno. The texture of the fish is very nice. The flavors are great. It's just a really delicious meal by itself. When we get these, Eleni gets one and I get one because I just can eat the whole thing by myself, and so can she. It's simply just a beautiful presentation. Just by its, even though it's takeout, obviously I had this ordered. Normally I'd go to a restaurant and eat it, but COVID, right? So this is really great. This is one of my favorite things. This is one of the things I almost always get. Very rarely do I not get it. So now the main event. I couldn't think of the word event. My brain is just like food. I'm hungry. Check this out. These are all of the different things that I got. These are what our Katarabata calls a Caribbean roll, which has lobster in it. This is a snapper. This is a brim. This is sea brim. I've had a similar fish in Japan. There's a video I made where I'm catching the fish. We actually go to the restaurant and you catch your own fish and eat it. It was this type of fish. This is a flounder. Flounder, the only thing that is, I would love to catch my own flounder and eat it, but I do that anyway. But this flounder is so much fun to catch. The only thing better than catching a flounder is eating it. This is eel. This is freshwater eel. Not unagi. Is it unagi? I'm going to mess up and not pronounce it right, but it is just freshwater eel. One of my favorites is very sweet, very tender. And the main, the the highlight for me, this this is tuna. This is a fatty tuna, the Toro. This is the belly part of the tuna where the you get the most fat and thus the most flavor, because that's how a lot of it works. Is how, like with beef, you have a fatty beef, you'll have a nice flavor to it. The fat coats your mouth, covers your lips, just fabulous. Oh, it just dissolves. The rice is the most important part aside from the fish. You have to have good rice, and Katarabata's rice is obviously excellent. I'm gonna try one of these Caribbean rolls. I'm just gonna go through one of each real quick, and then I'm gonna actually really tear into it. But the Caribbean roll, a beautiful combination of flavors and texture with the seaweed wrapped around it, and of course the rice, the avocado. So you get all these creaminess and this excellent flavor. And boy, oh, it's so good. Let's go. I'm gonna do a couple more, and then I'm really gonna sit down and eat. I'm just doing this because it's the day before Thanksgiving, so I just want it, and I need content, right? So I'm gonna do this eel. The eel is one of my favorites. Let's do this. With that, it's really creamy. That band of nori or seaweed, just fabulous. There's a little bit of that fishy flavor, not a lot, just enough, but good. Let's do this one more thing. This is a real quick mukbang. I just needed content. I needed dinner first and content second. So this, like I said before, this is flounder. Let's get my face here. This flounder, I had flounder about a year and a half ago, raw like this, I mean, and I figured I'd just try it, and it turns out to be one of my favorite things. Delicious white fish, white meat, I mean. Nice texture. You get that brininess from the salt water, mixed with that delicious rice. Oh, flounder. Flounder is just fabulous. I love flounder. I don't know what's better. This type of flounder, just served in nigiri style over rice, raw over rice, or fried. I really like fried flounder. You can't go wrong with a fried flounder. But, I mean, it depends. It really... an interesting thing to do would be catch the flounder, dispatch it, cut it up, and have it right there on the pier. That would be fun. I don't know how to prepare a flounder like that, so I wouldn't dare do that unless I knew exactly what I was doing. I would just rather have a professional do it, but that would be fun. The same thing with a tuna. I've never caught a tuna. I would love to catch a tuna and then clean it up and have the meat right there. Just put some soy sauce on it, a little bit of rice, and eat it right there on a boat, you know. That's something I would like to do eventually, but Just real quick mukbang, nothing fancy. I mean, it is fancy, but I really wanted to just have content and I wanted to show off my sushi. I love sushi.